master announced a sacred pilgrimage was to be made. It will be long, said the master to the young monk, but full of wonder. It took many days for them to reach the valley at the base of the temple atop the mountain. The master in his old age was almost blind. Once they reached the temple above, the master was greeted by all with extreme reverence and love. While the monk stood tired and overlooked, in the morning, the monk awoke to the beautiful sounds of bird song outside the open window. He suddenly heard bells chiming, gongs, and voices chanting. On the way, the monk attending the temple informed him that the master had left early at dawn. The monk stood shocked at first. Did he say where he was going? No, but he left forcefully instruction, replied the adult. The gift inside the parcel was an extremely old book that was barely held together with reds and green string. The instructions were simple: to keep the book safe inside the truck. The other request was to stay devoted and focused in practice until the master returned.
For many months, time passed slow and the seasons changed. The monk found his rhythm within the confines of the temple. As he continued to make progress within all of his disciplines, sword, staff, and even fan. And at night, the lighting of the butter lamps kept bright the spark and warm pulse within the monk's heart. Every time the monk approached the stupa, he would think of his master. Phrases and symbols once said became one as he began to slowly understand the deeper aspects of those lessons. His focus replaced loneliness. His aches became knowledge. His understanding became joy. And every prayer became love. One spring day, the monk could just sense it. There was to be a celebration, a festival of fireworks and dancing. There was a new light behind the smiling faces as they awaited the Great One. Great One was coming to visit the sacred site. And the chance of profound illumination was all around. The monk felt a rush of excitement, looking forward to reunite with his master after such a long time. But that night, for the first time in many, many moons, the monk had a frightful night's sleep. He woke tired in some state of panic. As he sat all alone in the dark, he started to remember fragments of his dream. When he awoke at dawn, he had a foggy feeling, which he quickly washed away as he stepped out of his chamber into the crisp, clean air. A small yellow bird came to the wall and started to sing. The monk was so surprised and enamored, he stopped to listen. He listened carefully and contentedly. It seemed the bird was just singing for him. As he turned to leave, the bird landed on his shoulder and nestled deep into his clavicle, where the bird stayed to rest there.
hear a loud trumpet sounding from the main gate below. His master was arriving. The monk prepared himself. The new small friend stayed attached to the monk. As an attendant come hired. The message was to wait for his master to summon him later before sunset. A bit confused and perhaps disappointed, the monk went about his daily lesson. His yellow-bird friend never left his side. At the end of the afternoon, Montoise, the monk sat in his room with his new companion, sipping water from the metal bowl. He opened the trunk and took out of the book for a moment, contemplating both on its meaning. He smelled the binding and lightly stroked the thread of color holding it together, though he dared not open it further. He didn't understand what he did not know, so he softened his gaze and locked the book back into the trunk. Then someone came to the door. An attendant knocked quietly and then said, "Come out quickly. You must make haste with me now." The monk followed the man down many steps to a place he had never been before. The man said, "Wait," then reappeared with a small rickshaw. "Get in and hold on now," said the driver. The attendant drove the monk down a long, narrow road for what seemed a dangerously long trek. The monk did his best to stay quiet and calm, with a bird hiding in his sleeve. He somehow knew not to engage the driver. As the cool air whipped around them, then all at once the rickshaw stopped. The panting driver put down the frame handles and said, "Get out. You need to work the rest of the way." Bewildered, the monk asked, "Where?" "Just over those outcropping rocks, to the edge of the cliff to the right. You will see it." "See what?" The monk thought, for it was beginning to become dark. As twilight descended, but he did as he was instructed. When he climbed over the rocks, he saw his master meditating on the ground near the edge of the cliff. Down below was a huge gorge with a colossal drop to a strong river. He could hear the sound of the water rushing past. He knew not to disturb his master in deep meditation. true, he didn't understand anything of what was happening. His master lifted his left index finger to the sky. The bird flew to land lightly on the master's finger. The bird looked out over the pink horizon. The monk did as well. He saw how beautiful the sky truly was, on fire in some explosion of passion erupting from the stars. The image shifted as silhouette figures made their way to edge of the opposite bluff. On the other side of the gorge, pairs of wolves were assembling in their path of safety. The monk was so transfixed, he didn't see the group of temple musicians with instruments arriving to set up just behind him. A small cop allotted him to the musician's presence. When the monk looked back behind his shoulder, he gazed up to see the full moon just beginning to rise low, glowing in the night sky. The wolves are gathered to witness the full moon. The monks were gathered to witness the setting sun. In some perfect balance and deep understanding, they were in common reverence of the majestic powerful orbs in this galaxy. The orbs started first to roll loud and fly out, singing to perhaps their dead and missing family. The alpha led the pack, and the others joined in response. There was a calling out beyond the space in some lowly, elegant lament. Then, to the monk's surprise, the sound echoed across the gorge in sonic wave that permeated the dimensions within his body. Then, after the echo had passed and finished its vibration, the musician and monks sent a reply back to the wolves in an equal playback towards them, which too expanded out across the night. This chord response continued as the sun sank completely. The monk began to cry. He felt like his heart was breaking open. His sorrow blended with forgiveness, but the monk sensed that man had killed many wolves and wolves had attacked many men. The regret of their wrongdoing settled deep into the bones of the monk. The senseless killing marked throughout time, born only through a fear of the other. The two tribes taking responsibility for their mistakes, with a helpful promise that wisdom and trust are the way forward. This shared pain was the reconciliation of two communities, witnessing and sharing the sonic harmony together. In this sacred ceremony, The evil bird then sat in the monk's folded hand to comfort him. The monk lifted the small bird and hand his favored brother for choosing and befriending him. The bird kissed the monk's cheek in gratefulness. The beautiful exchange of song and tears went until the dawn. An annual tradition, the monk would learn. Once he awoke from dreams, the next day, the sun rose on his back. He walked across the canyon to the woods, walking and making their way home. There was one wolf. The monk held eye to eye. The wolf and the monk stared at one another in some mysterious gaze. For some time, the monk bowed his head slowly and the wolf then turned his back and departed. Just then he heard his master's voice. You are very blessed to witness such a marriage of earth and sky, sun and moon, and in a strange way, both man and beast. This kind of deep love is rare, just like you and your yellow plant here. The bird then flew from the master's hand onto the monk's hand. The three sat in silence for some time, as did all musicians as they worked. They all turned to face the cliffs across the gorge where the shadow seems to remain of the pack, sharing the sensation of the sun of the new dawn shining down warming their backs. This moment of peace and warmth never left the heart of the monk, as he would always remember the deep love he felt in this wondrous experience.